Hi, welcome to Beef Cattle Institute's Ask the Experts, where our experts answer your questions. And happy to have two great experts with me today. I've got Dr. Brian Lubers. Hi, Brian.
Hi.
And Dr. Bob Larson.
Hey, Brad.
So we're happy to have them because they get a chance to answer your questions, and we always appreciate when you send questions in. If you have questions for us, you can email us at bci@ksu.edu. Our format is I ask one of the listener questions, and these guys get a chance to respond. Based on their responses, they get up to 10 points for their responses as we go through. Today's listener question comes to us, and I think is a really good one, and asks, what has more influence on replacement heifers, genetics or environment? Brian?
So I know I'm going to lose points for this. I've just accepted it, but I'm gonna say it's both. But I will lean towards environment. I think the environment that you raise a heifer in, and that includes the nutritional management that animal has, the disease prevention, all of those things, and they add up. They're cumulative, right? And so there's just a lot more of them than there is to purely just say genetics. So I am going to stick with, my answer is going to be, it's the environment that has the most significant impact on raising a replacement heifer.
Okay, environment and some of the disease management, some of the other exposures you're talking about, and nutrition.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, 7 points for Brian. Bob?
Okay, so I may lose more points than you because I'm going to say I agree with Brian that I think it is more environment, but it is important to think about the role that genetics does play. For instance, I don't want to save a replacement heifer out of a cow that has poor structure, such as poor structure over udder, feet and leg structures, those types of things. Any indication, and with some of my purebred, I might have some information of, stayability, heifer pregnancy rate, those kinds of things. So I want to use those tools. But the reason I agree with Brian is if I had a heifer that had a lot of the good genetic traits, but either she was born really late or I didn't manage her well, all those genetic traits get trumped by the environment.
Okay, great response. And I think you're right. Those things are important, and it can overwhelm the genetics. However, the implication behind this question is at some point we know which is a good replacement heifer and maybe which is a bad. So, Brian, I'm going to go back to you, and I'm going to ask you, how are we going to, at the end of the process, determine which was good and which was bad for our replacement heifers? What's your metrics?
Which was good, meaning environment or genetics? Or?
No. How do we know if the heifer turned out well or not?
Yeah. I'm going to steal Bob's answer because I know he's going to say, did she bring me a live calf, right? So having a live productive calf is the ultimate metric for I raised a good or adequate replacement heifer for my herd.
Okay, Brian's moved up to 8 points.
Yeah.
Bob, you're currently sitting at 7.
I'm going to build on his answer because it's not only that she brings me a live calf, but she has her calf early in the calving season. I want her to conceive very early, and I want her bred and to conceive for her second pregnancy early. So the blue ribbon heifer had a good, healthy calf that lives to weaning, and she's pregnant to give birth during the first 21 days of her second breeding season. She's my blue ribbon.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great answer, Bob, because it goes well beyond did she get pregnant? Did she have her first calf? It's does she stay in the herd, because it takes a while to come back. So now let's think about, so we said environment's the most important. What are the genetic attributes you'd care about most if you were raising replacement heifers?
I would say age at puberty, feet and legs, and udder conformation.
Okay.
See, I like Bob's answer, but I think when I said it depends, my thought was it's the match between genetics and environment that's important, right? So I can have a high genetic potential heifer in the wrong environment is not going to do well. I can up what's the right word I'm looking for? I can bring a marginal heifer up with the right environment. And so I'm not going to say there's one specific trait because we deal with too many, our audience is too broad. It's the match between those two that really makes a good heifer.
Excellent answer, Brian. Brian really crystallized it there. It's not a either or. It is how well that heifer matches the environment based on her genetics, not just the environment today, but the environment of her future when she stays on that operation. So Brian ends up with 9 points. Bob, you ended up with 7.
I agree on this one. He actually beat me.
He did. So thank you for joining us. As always, if you have questions for us, you can send us an email at bci@ksu.edu.